Hello students and welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Now it has been in the month of September 2024, it has been 10 years of the Make in India project scheme, whatever you may call it. It has been 10 years. So we will be analyzing Make in India. Now how to analyze? The best thing to do it, just see what were the objectives that were set in 2014 when Make in India was started. What specific objectives were there and where are we with respect to those objectives. Okay, that is how we will do the analysis. So let's get started. Now one more thing is there, this particular article is from the Hindu newspaper. Now it can be from any newspaper. The idea is that this probably this article is a bit critical, so that does not mean everything has been bad. No, of course not necessary. What also we can do is learn from this and further improve it. This again would not mean that it is a complete failure, let's stop with it. No, this can be a learning for us to do even better, because the vision and the ambition was actually a great one, right? And also we have to take things considering that late 2019 or early 2020, 21 have been COVID years, which has made the entire world suffer basically. So all that has to be taken into account, and later on when we see the flip side in editorials and stuff, we will take that up as well. However, let's get started with this article. So what were the objectives of Make in India project? So first things first, there was to raise the manufacturing sector's share in GDP. Raise the manufacturing sector's share in GDP to 25%. Right? So what does this mean? See, you have various sectors. You have primary sector, you have secondary sector, you have tertiary sector. These are the three main sectors. So secondary sector consists of manufacturing sector, that is the industries. Now the idea was that this sector's share in GDP to be made to reach 25%. That is one, from the then present 14 to 50%. Second was to create 100 million additional industrial jobs from about 60 million by 2025. 100 million jobs means 10 crore jobs. Okay, 1 million is 10 lakhs, so 100 million is going to be 1000 lakhs, that means 10 crore jobs. These two were the main objectives of the scheme. So let us see how the scheme has performed. 10 years on, what are the things? When you look at the growth rate, gross value, real gross value added, growth rate has slowed down from 8.1% to 8.1% in 2001 to 2012 to 5.5% during 2012 to 2023. So from 8.1%, it has come down to 5.5%. Now, since growth has come down, what will happen? The share would also shrink. Probably if other sectors also shrink, if other sectors shrink faster, then probably yes, the share can go up. But if other sectors are doing well, let's say service sector is growing at a faster rate, so the share of the service sector will keep on increasing and that of the manufacturing sector will keep on reducing, right? So what has happened here? The growth rate has gone down, indicating that there would be a decline in what? In the share. So let's see whether that happens or not. So in chart 1, if we see that there is a decline in the GVA. So if you can see this, you had around 8% GVA here, and it had gone up over here in 2006-07. It was very high just before the 2008 global financial crisis. Then it went down again, then up, and then see, if you see this particular line, it's not doing quite well. It is a zigzag, but it was doing well here, it went down, and now somewhere around here what happens is our Make in India starts. So our Make in India starts at close to 8%. It shoots up, but then if you look at it, it's quite down. So there have not been consistent increase in the growth rate. Not just increase, it has not even been stable. It has lots of ups and downs, and more down than up is clearly seen in this graph. That is what is talked about. The second thing is the sector's GDP share, which was a target. stagnated at 15 to 17%. So earlier at that time it was already 14 to 15%. It stagnated at around 15 to 17%. And what was the target? The target was 25%. So it is far from what was targeted, which will be very clear in this particular graph. The share of manufacturing sector. Now why this different color? Because this was a different old series, this is a new series, the methodology is different. Article also says that certain places when you see certain improvement, that can also be attributed to certain methodological changes. Alright, but let's look at the data in itself. So you have around 15, close to 16% of share of manufacturing sector in GDP. Now the idea was to take it to 25%, but where are we now? We have stagnated. So if you look at it, already Make in India has started. We are still at less than 18, around 17, 16.5, close to 18, just about 18. So around 18, 18% is what an average we are holding, which is far from the 25% which was targeted. Now, further, when it comes to employment, the manufacturing sector's employment has also declined from 12.6% to 11.4%. So, the job creation has also taken a hit, which would again be shown in a different graph if we see over here. So, this chart shows the share of agriculture and manufacturing in total employment. So, where is our manufacturing? Manufacturing is the red line. So, if you look at manufacturing, 1994, chalo, this is a bit old data, but if you look at here we are, the manufacturing is actually doing quite good, but it is not increasing. It is not that bad. It has not gone much down, but it has not shot up as well. So the numbers are not that good, and hence the target is not achieved here as well. Okay. Now, further deindustrialization or deindustrializing. Why is India deindustrializing? What do you mean by deindustrializing? We wanted the share of the industries to expand. Now, if it contracts, becomes stagnant and starts contracting, we would rather say that India is deindustrializing. Now, what is the main reason for that? The main reason for that is given by the stagnation or near zero growth in the fixed capital. Fixed investment growth was practically collapsed. So fixed capital investment growth practically collapsed is what the next chart going to tell us, because of which, since the investment has collapsed, so there will not be expansion. Whatever the industry is doing, however it is doing, it will keep on to do that. For expansion, for new industries, what do you need? Fixed investment. Now, if that has not grown, how will your industries expand? And that is what is seen in this particular graph. So, when you look at, there are two different datas, NAS and ASI data. We'll look at both of them. NAS data gives us the capital formation, if you talk about the gross value, if you talk about 6.2. ASI data says it's 3.5. Fair enough, that's not a problem. More thing, what the numbers are different, but we are more interested in this number. In this number, NAS gives a number 4.5 and 0.3. Drastic difference is there in GFCF, that is gross fixed capital formation. So gross fixed capital formation, this is as good as negligent, non-existent, as a result of which there will not be any expansion. Now, why this huge difference in the numbers? Because the methodologies used are different, right? So this article is being critical as a result of which choosing this number and saying it is non-existent, right? But even this can be considered. We cannot neglect this altogether just because it is high. Maybe this is right, maybe reality lies somewhere in between. So even this 4.5%, if you consider, it is not that high as it should have been, as a result of which there is not much growth. See, understand this in a manner that if you have 100 rupees and your business is generating 100 rupees of revenue, now you want to expand. Now you add, let's say, 10 rupees more to it, 10% of investment. It will expand, your revenue generation would be more, your profits will increase. All that will happen. But if you do not put any money into the business, then what will happen? It will remain stagnant. say a similar revenue, similar sort of profits. Profit is chalo fine, it depends on various other factors, but if you just talk about sheer revenue, what will happen? Revenue may remain the same because you are not expanding. So for that you need money. So whatever the higher the percentage of investment, the higher the growth you will see. The basic idea is the percentage investment itself is low, as a result of which you are not seeing a growth in that particular sector. So as I said, this article considers 0.3 data, the 0.3 number of ASI, right, and hence says it is practically zero, right? But any which way, whichever data you say, it is very clear that it is low. Now since that is low, what other impact will it going to take on India? What other impact will it have on India? When the industries are not expanding, that means production is not increasing, but population is increasing, demand is increasing, people's purchasing power keeps on increasing, right? So when that thing keeps on happening, now you will say, if industries are not expanding, how people's purchasing power is increasing? Because there are other sectors also, service sector also, from where people can earn money, and they are earning, like there's an exponential growth over there. So they'll still earn money, still purchasing power, and they would want manufactured goods, but the industry is not expanding. So what they do? They will go for imports, booming imports, mainly from China. And this is the graph for the same. So our exports, if you see, exports are not doing that great, and look at the imports, so high. It went a bit down due to the crude oil price fell down also. Because of that, the imports becomes cheaper. So crude oil is not it's not a manufacturing or durable good or anything like that, but when the crude oil prices go down, what happens is almost all the prices go down, because logistics, transport, for all that you do need crude oil. So if you'll see, if the prices of petrol, diesel goes up, suddenly prices of everything, vegetable, durable goods, everything goes up. And if it will go down, they will also go down. Of course, there are other reasons for going up and down. So it fell down, but then again, so the decline you see is the decline due to the benefit of low crude oil prices globally. Of course, other factors also, but that was one main factor. But then again, if you can see, it has again gone up, and it is over high. The highest is here. And if you look at it, this exports, it also increased here, but then it has gone down. Now, why is this corresponding increase here? See, India imports crude oil, we refine it and sell petroleum, export petroleum. So this is coinciding over here. But the main point is, import is increasing, and if you look at the trade deficit, it went down, but see, there is a continual growth over here. So that is also a reason, that is also an impact of not proper expansion of our industrial sector, which has led to an increase in the imports. So all in all, this was a critical article on Make in India. Now let's wait for another side of the story, and we'll take that up as well in the coming days. So these are the issues we can say we have with Make in India, and we can improvise on that. We can come up with specific thing, for example, Make in India in defense. Now that's another smart idea, so that we don't have to rely on the foreign technology and develop in our own country. All right, so that's about it on Make in India. See you in the next session. Thank you.